Translator, Dark Angel. Editor, Kurisu, damn! Huang Zitao and his companions were struck dumb for a moment before they finally snapped back to their senses. In unison, they drew their weapons, their killing intent fierce and brazen. They had long since found Ling Han an eyesore, a lone fellow, yet he had somehow captured the hearts of the imperial city's twin pearls. Now that they had heard his provoking retort, how could they endure it any longer? Each of them raised his weapon to strike, and they surged forward to cut him down. Ganging up on those beneath you? Do you feel not even the slightest shame? Ling Han snorted coldly. His feet shifted into the exquisite footwork of exiting cloud steps, and his sword trembled as it thrust out, flashes of frosty light darting forth. Not everyone in Huang Zitao's group was a true elite. The other three were merely in element gathering tier, and they had only dared to rush in because Huang Zitao was there to hold the line. Thus, Ling Han fixed his focus on those three. Exiting cloud steps was swift and uncanny, letting him evade every single strike. Huang Zitao sent his way. His sword chi swayed like a wild dance, unhindered, as it shot toward the other three men. His battle prowess was enough to overwhelm an ordinary ninth-layer element-gathering tier martial artist, and he had also condensed 6 flashes of sword chi. His offensive power was naturally tyrannical. Shua! 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 Torn cloth fluttered everywhere like butterflies in a storm, and the 3 men taking the brunt of it wailed in misery. The garments on their bodies were ceaselessly shredded into strips, and one wound after another blossomed across their flesh. Brat, face me head on if you dare! Huang Zitao roared in fury. Is there something wrong with your brain? Ling Han snorted. I'm only at the 6th layer of element gathering tier, yet you're at the 5th layer of gushing spring tier, and you still want me to face you directly? Have you trained martial arts until you've turned into an idiot? Damn! Huang Zitao cursed again, then bellowed, all of you, fall back! These 3 were of no help to him. On the contrary, they were obstructing him, making it impossible for him to fully display his strength. Worse, they were even used as human shields by Ling Han, forcing him to pull back his saber at the last instant time and time again. After the other 3 retreated at his command, Huang Zitao swung his saber, and sure enough, the reach of his attacks broadened. The saber's radiance was bitingly cold, and like water being poured, it wrapped around Ling Han on every side. In this situation, he truly held the advantage, pressing Ling Han until he could not counter at all and could only dodge with all his might. Yet Liu Yutong did not throw out any attacks of her own. Instead, she seized the opening to continue drawing closer to that stalk of godly medicine. This was the plan Ling Han had settled on from the outset. He would be responsible for pinning down Huang Zitao, while Liu Yutong would be in charge of plucking the medicinal herb. So long as Huang Zitao could not free himself to stop her, how could a few mere element-gathering tier martial artists contend with Liu Yutong? Oh, no. None of the 3 were fools, so they quickly noticed Liu Yutong's movements. They lunged in a hurry, intending to stop her. However, they moved a beat too late, and on top of that, all 3 were only in element-gathering tier. How could they possibly catch her? Liu Yutong drifted forward without raising a speck of dust, swiftly arriving before that stalk of godly medicine. Just as she saw she was only about 10 meters from her target, Shua? A streak of sword chi swept toward her, forcing her to halt. A young man in white robes approached with a sword in hand. His face was like carved jade crowned in grace, his hair as black as ink. Each step he took seemed to follow some wondrous rhythm of nature itself, unconsciously drawing every gaze in the area until he became the center of all attention. Sun Bu Ren. Liu Yutong's eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a deep and wary dread. Sun Bu Ren, the most outstanding clansman of this generation of the Sun Clan. Though he was not among Huyang Academy's core disciples, he still ranked within the 10 strongest true disciples, possessing the ability to force his way into the core disciple ranks. His original name had been Sun Ren, yet later he changed it to Sun Bu Ren. Rumor had it he had always admired Xiao Xiong's ruthless nature and the way he would use any means to achieve his ends. Thus the name Sun Bu Ren came to be. 1. 3rd layer of gushing spring with battle prowess of unfathomable depth. He should at least be able to reach 5 stars. Yutong girl, could you yield this treasured herb to me? How about it? Sun Bu Ren wore a smile as warm as a spring breeze. Yet those who knew him understood well that this man was fickle by nature. In one instant, he could be all smiles, and in the next, his face could turn as he struck to kill. I don't agree with that. Light laughter rang out, and another figure appeared. This newcomer was tall and handsome, and in terms of aura, he was not inferior to Sun Bu Ren. Hu Fengyue! Sun Bu Ren's expression tightened. Hu Fengyue was likewise one of Huyang Academy's 10 strongest true disciples. Me neither. Another young elite arrived, though this one was a little fatty. His body was round like a wine barrel, yet his appearance made both Hu Fengyue and Sun Bu Ren frown. Qian Wuyong, also among the 10 strongest true disciples. Fine, then. The place had been rather empty just moments ago, yet in the blink of an eye, so many elite martial artists had appeared. Ling Han and Huang Zitao naturally both halted their exchange. With so many elites present, whoever made the first move would be the fool. Hey, none of you want to strike? Then this spiritual medicine will be mine. Qian Wuyong shot forward. Though he was extraordinarily plump, he was also extraordinarily fast. Within moments, he had already reached the stalk of godly medicine. Insolence! Sun Bu Ren, Hu Fengyue, and Huang Zitao all moved at the same time. Saber Qi and Sword Qi surged forth together, an awe-inspiring and terrifying spectacle. Qian Wuyong could not help but twist his body mid-air to evade. Even he did not dare clash head-on against the combined assault of 3 such elite warriors. However, the deadlock was shattered, and the 4 of them collided in a flurry. They blocked one another from seizing the treasured herb, while also striving with all their might to be the first to get their hands on it. In an instant, the entire scene became a chaotic tangle. Ling Han did not move. He merely stood off to one side. When the victor was finally decided, he would only need to draw his treasured saber and snatch the godly medicine back. Huang Zitao and the other 3 had worried at first that the shockwaves of their clash would be too powerful and harm the stock of treasured herb. But after fighting for a while, they realized that once the energy of their strikes reached the light enveloping the herb, it would be blocked from advancing further. The shockwave could not spread beyond that point. Now they fought even more boldly, their movements increasingly unrestrained. Sabers and swords flashed, origin power bursting out in torrents. Watching, Ling Han gave a faint nod. Aside from Huang Zitao, the other 3 were all exceedingly formidable. If Huang Zitao did not possess the advantage of a higher cultivation level, he would have been driven out by the other 3 long ago. Even so, Huang Zitao was the weakest among them. It hardly mattered whether he was present at all. Sun Bu Ren had formed 3 flashes of sword qi, while Hu Fengyue possessed 3 flashes of saber qi. The little fatty used claws, and similarly had 3 flashes of qi. The 3 of them could be said to be evenly matched, and it was difficult to decide who stood above the rest. They're all among the Academy's 10 strongest true disciples. As for who is stronger, none of them have ever revealed their true prowess, so there's no basis to judge, Liu Yutong whispered to Ling Han. Ling Han smiled faintly and said, "Within 3 months, you'll definitely be able to surpass them." If anyone else heard such words, they would surely laugh themselves half to death. One had to know that Hu Fengyue and the other 2 had earned their reputations in Huyang Academy through countless battles. They had spent years, enduring struggle upon struggle, before finally climbing to their present positions. How could they be surpassed so casually? Yet Liu Yutong was absolutely confident. Her talent was genuine, and she was cultivating a heaven-grade cultivation technique while consuming the alchemical medicines Ling Han had refined. Moreover, she was also learning a black-grade high-level martial arts technique. All these factors combined would certainly transform her completely within 3 months' time. The battle among the 4 gushing spring-tier martial artists grew fiercer and more violent, stoking blazing rage in all 4. Seeing the stalemate could not be broken, they all made a move to snatch the stock of godly medicine, clearly intending to seize some benefit first. F! Ling Han cursed. He hurriedly drew his saber and charged forward. This was a godly medicine. How could he allow it to be damaged? But at this very moment, something no one expected happened. The stalk of godly medicine actually pulled itself from the earth, slipped free, and as if its roots were legs, Pa, pa, pa! It turned a cartwheel along the ground, breaking through the siege of the four of them in an instant. Then it began racing away at a terrifying speed. F. Translator. Dark Angel. Kurisu. What the? A medicinal herb had actually torn free from the earth, and now it was sprinting away? When this sight struck their eyes, everyone froze in shock for a heartbeat before snapping back to themselves and immediately giving chase to the runaway herb. Not even Ling Han had anticipated that such a thing would occur. Even if Huang Zitao and the others did not know this divine medicine's origins, if an herb could uproot itself and flee, then with their wits, how could they fail to infer that its worth was far, far beyond what they had first imagined? A godly medicinal herb fled in front, while a great crowd chased behind. The scene was almost comical, yet not a single person had the mind to laugh at such a time. All focus was poured into their footwork, all intent fixed on seizing the escaping herb. In the legends, there were treasures that had awakened consciousness. They could burrow beneath the earth and soar through the heavens. And this herb, though it neither tunneled underground nor flew through the air, the fact that it could run about like a living man meant its value could not be low. As they ran, the uproar drew more and more people into the pursuing ranks. Ling Han discovered this stock of divine medicine was doing it deliberately because it kept circling again and again, luring ever more chasers to join. Yet it always maintained a proper distance. Plainly adept at this sort of teasing game, could a stock of divine medicine truly give birth to its own intelligence? When that thought rose, Ling Han could not help but feel his heart shake with astonishment. Intelligence belonged to humans and demonic beasts. Some demonic beasts could even match a human's wit, yet he had never heard of plants possessing intelligence as well. Under the intentional leading of this stock of divine medicine, of those who had entered this space, at least 3/4 had joined the mad chase after the godly medicinal herb. Yet not a single one managed to catch up to it. They could only trail behind, gulping dust. "We can't keep going like this," someone shouted. "Why do I feel like I'm being played around with by a stock of spiritual medicine?" Outrageous as it sounds, this is what I think. This stock of godly medicine is evil. Heh. If you think it's evil, then give up. No one's forcing you to chase it. But I'm curious. No one was willing to quit. By now, even fools should have guessed this stock of godly medicine was unimaginably precious. Some even deliberately peeled off to inform the old monsters, having them set a trap outside so this stock of spiritual medicine would not suddenly dart away through the underground river and vanish without a trace. Hear my command. Everyone split up and join forces to capture this stock of spiritual medicine, the third imperial prince declared. Now, the higher ranks have been alerted. According to them, we must apprehend this stock of spiritual medicine at all costs, so do not harbor selfish motives, all of you. Everyone nodded. Since even the higher ranks outside the entrance had been alerted, how could they dare disobey? It was only fitting for the third imperial prince to take command. First, because his strength was sufficient, and second, because his status was lofty enough. One order after another rang out, and none dared to oppose. Even Hu Fengyue, Sun Bu Ren, and the rest carried out his commands strictly. At least on the surface, there was no dissent from them. However, Ling Han could tell these youths were mostly brimming with towering ambition. How could they simply yield when such a priceless divine medicine was right before their eyes? Each was surely harboring his own designs. The instant they laid hands on it, they would swallow it at once. Who knew? Perhaps in a single step, they would transform dramatically and become a god. The encircling ring widened, and the stock of divine medicine kept charging toward peril in every direction. Yet no one had guessed the divine medicine had not shown its true speed at all. Only now, when danger hemmed it in from all sides, did it suddenly burst forth with speed, swift as lightning. After breaking through their encirclement, the stock of divine medicine actually lifted its roots toward them, like a man raising a finger. If one thought about it, the finger it raised was definitely the middle finger. Magnificent. This wasn't merely a stock of divine medicine, it was a stock of divine medicine with a ruffian's temperament. A strange feeling rose in all of them. They had truly been toyed with by a stock of spiritual medicine. I'm so furious. I'll definitely eat you. One hot-tempered fellow roared in rage. The ring of people formed again and slowly tightened, leaving less and less space for the stalk of divine medicine to dart about in. Ling Han frowned. With the tremendous commotion this stalk of divine medicine had stirred up, even if he could suppress everyone here, could he obtain this stalk of divine medicine intact? If he ate it before everyone's eyes, then who knew whether he would be boiled into human soup by the old monsters waiting outside once he left this place? That was exactly the sort of thing those old monsters would do, because most divine medicines could extend one's lifespan. And what did those old monsters lack the most? Time and life. He could not help but feel troubled. What could he do now that would allow him to claim this stock of divine medicine without alerting anyone else? He had the spatial ring, so there was absolutely no problem concealing it without leaving a trace. But the question was, how could he obtain the divine medicine without letting anyone discover it? As he ran, he pondered the problem without pause. The divine medicine was now forced into a corner. After all, there were simply too many people here, so no matter how fast it was useless. Ling Han halted abruptly, gasping, "Danger!" Lu Yutong and Li Xichan did not doubt his words in the slightest, so they immediately stopped, but the others all snorted at him. This brat must be trying to trick them. They had been in this place for quite a while. When had they ever encountered any danger here? Though this was the belly of the mountain, light still flickered everywhere, leaving no hint of darkness in their surroundings. Yet before them appeared a pitch-dark space, as if it were a gigantic maw of some monster waiting to swallow them whole. Shoo! The divine medicine had already dashed in, and everyone was right on its heels. But all of a sudden, peng, peng, peng. It was as though they had slammed into an invisible wall, and they were instantly thrown back. Some were still all right, only leaving with bleeding wounds. Yet others were grievously injured, with bones jutting out through their flesh. The divine medicine stopped, and once more used its roots to gesture at them, provoking them. This time, no one was angry, because they had all come out of that crash in miserable shape and had not yet caught their breath. Bastard! One of them immediately rushed to Ling Han and jabbed a finger at his nose. Since you knew there was danger ahead, why didn't you say so earlier? Can you be a bit reasonable? Lu Yutong stepped in front of Ling Han, her expression cold and baleful. Didn't Ling Han already tell you there was danger ahead? You were the ones who didn't stop running. Heng, you didn't say it clearly. Who knows what that danger is? Someone argued unreasonably, shouting loudly. Ling Han, if you're a man, then step out here. Don't hide behind a woman defending you. This person was at the 8th layer of element gathering tier, and naturally he was no match for Lu Yutong. But Ling Han was only at the 6th layer of element gathering tier, making him think Ling Han was an easy mark. Sigh, ugly people will do anything to attract attention. Ling Han lightly pushed Lu Yutong aside. Lu Yutong could not help feeling a bit worried. She was naturally not worried that Ling Han would be hurt, but rather worried this fellow's temper was too quick, and he would kill this man who was deliberately provoking him. In that case, it would not be easy to smooth things over. Don't worry. For Miss Liu's sake, I will be merciful, the man sneered. The reason he had deliberately provoked Ling Han was only to make him suffer a little, so Ling Han's image in Lu Yutong's eyes would be ruined. Pa! Pa! He had just finished speaking when his face took a heavy slap. A burning pain flared across his cheek. He stared blankly for a moment before realizing he had been slapped by Ling Han. Instantly, rage exploded within him, and he likewise raised his palm, striking toward Ling Han. Pa! Ling Han's palm rose again and struck his face. He had moved later, yet hit first, delivering another slap. Moreover, the force was exceptionally fierce, making the man's body sway. The palm he had raised naturally struck nothing. He could not believe this reality, and so once again swung a slap toward Ling Han. Pa! 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 This time he was truly unlucky, as Ling Han slapped his face again and again.